So this is a video response to Demon State, one of my followers. Great person, great guy. I mean, martial arts instructor, and I've seen has done plenty of experiments on ancient type of swords, especially Kopesh for the Bronze Age. For what I have seen, and this is my answer to his question. Do you think that in the past they used the bronze swords for parrying? So that's a hard and precise question. It's impossible for me to answer with 100% accuracy, but I will try. From the HEMA perspective, especially 133 or E33 manual and later treatises, we will cross the swords for feeling what the opponent will do. This seems the best solution, especially with long blades, but not all the cultures do this. Example, I have never been taught to cross the blades in my harness eskrima training. And furthermore, there is plenty of evidence of old videos made in the very beginning of anthropology studies where we can see people performing dances and ritual duels, and they don't seem to cross the swords at all, even if they are quite long. Remember a video of two North African fighters, Sudanese I guess, performing such dance with a gasha and a long straight sword that could be possibly a cascara. And let's say this is my anthropological perspective on the topic. For the archaeological one, as I'm mainly an archaeologist, I have to admit that we do find markings on Bronze Age swords, such as bowings and dents that have different origins. Some of them can be made with the sword smashing on the bone, as I have demonstrated in my bachelor's degree thesis, or on a metal edge, or possibly also an organic edge, like wood and such materials, for example a shield. In fact, in my degree thesis, I have noticed a sword with many of these bowings in the strong section of the blade, in the so-called forte or strong in Italian. And you can find also my thesis on Academia. These bowings, let's say, could not have been made with a slashing action, as this is not the cutting part of the sword, the one I'm talking about. But I think this bowing on this specific Sardinian Bronze Age sword, which is comparable to a carpstone, I think they were made trying to make contact with the other weapon's edge or controlling and binding actions. So let's say, what about the parrying? I think that parrying with a bronze sword is a terrible idea, as it will be parrying with and the two things in Sardinia coexisted for a long time. In my opinion, the sword was used carefully for delivering the fatal blow, for menacing the opponent with the point or with a cutting action, or also for cutting when we see an opening, and the parry was mainly done with the shield. If the swordman only had the sword on his side, is a different matter. Possibly, I think it would use some organic material, like a hat, a cloak, or some kind of like a cape, or in general an animal skin, or even the dagger. There are some daggers of the Bronze Age which seems a bit, let's say, too short for being like poignards or knives, and too long for being swords. So dagger is pretty much the right term of calling it. And I think they were possibly used as a shield. This one is the hypothesis of some archaeologists I know. And for the use of a skin, the skin of an animal, or a hat, or a cape, there is plenty of classical and Greek iconography for this. And we are even talking of steel swords. For the solo sword, if the hand was protected, as we see in the bronzes, I would think to a fighting stance with the weapon in front of the body. So I hope to have addressed your question and to have answered in a reasonable way. Thanks for watching and great job. Bye, cheers!